Hello, everyone. My name is William Hemsworth. Thank you for joining me. And my internet connection is being a little wonky, it seems like. So, my apologies. My guest is Kendra Von Esh. She is a speaker. She does retreats. She's an author. She has a retreat house called Soul, Mind, and Body Retreat. We'll talk about that a little bit. But Kendra has been on the show before, but it's been like 4 years. It's been a long time. So, Kendra, how are you been doing?
I've been doing great. God has been good. We definitely need to catch up. Has it only been 4 years? Why does it seem like it's been so much longer?
It very well could have been. So,
I mean, I didn't look it up. I'm going to trust you. But in my mind, I'm like, man, it seems like more like 6 years, but probably not. You're probably
it
spot
could. It could have been. I think the first time we talked was 6 years ago because I was working at a Jeff Cavins event in Orange, and I did the interview from my minivan. My mobile studio is what I called it.
on. Right.
Um, all right.
I
So yeah,
remember.
yeah. So that was fun.
That was still good though.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. God gets things to work out however He pleases. So it's all good. I can't complain.
Yeah.
All right. So Kendra, you've been busy. You've moved to Tennessee from the Chicago area. You started a retreat house. Is there anything else I missed?
Well, I got my dog in the background. Sorry to everyone. I do keep her in a room. She'll calm down eventually.
Mine's
But
right here. It's okay.
yeah, so I moved down to Tennessee. The whole reason I was moving down here was so that I could retire with my husband, and we bought some land out in the country, looking to just get out of the Chicago winters, a little bit crazy, and you don't have to shovel snow in Arizona, so you get it. Um, and unfortunately, right before we were about ready to move, my husband suddenly passed away up in Chicago on our kitchen floor out of the blue with a coronary heart attack. And that was when my life was completely turned upside down. I didn't know what I was going to do. Should I move? Should I stay? My whole family is up in Chicago. Do I want to come down to Tennessee not knowing a soul, like zero people? And it was one of the most beautiful times of my life because I just turned to Jesus and Mary. I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't turn to like my family or friends because I knew that God had allowed this to happen and he must have some sort of plan. I just had no idea what it was. So I dove into prayer, and Our Lady of Sorrows was another companion for me during this time. And during that prayer time, he says, move. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, move. How am I going to do this? So you might be like, what are you talking about? You just move, you know?
It's a lot of work.
However, this house that I'm in right now, sorry again about my dog, the house that I'm in right now was only drywalled. So no floors, kitchens, bathrooms, trim work, doors, nothing. And that was what my husband was going to do because he is super handy and was going to save us a whole lot of money. So I didn't know even how to finish the house. So I said, if I'm supposed to move, you have to help put people in my life to get this done. And he did I have learned so much about building a home, what is right and what is wrong. I've had to have my roof replaced because one day it was pouring rain and I had water coming out of my lights in my ceiling. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So, yeah, it's been a very trying time. This was in January of 2024. So, all of January 2024, it was me trying to get this house livable. I did not have my dog at the time. I was living on a air mattress in my bedroom. And I was just happy when I got appliances and running water in the house. So then in prayer, and this was during 2024, God was like, build a retreat home. And I just about fell over and must have asked him, I'm not kidding, a million times. What? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you
Like, no
sure?
way. Why me?
What's that?
Like, no way. Why me?
Right. No, I mean, scared to death. I've never built anything. I mean, this was built already. B, I haven't run retreats in my own space. I've obviously led retreats when people ask me to come to conferences or their parish. I've run day retreats, weekend retreats, and I kept debating him. I kept asking over and over and over again, like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And one thing I do want to share that was miraculous to me was my husband died again in January 27th. I think it's important to say the end of January. My father died 33 days prior on Christmas Day. So I
Oh
had
my
two
gosh.
of the most important men in my life gone. And January 2027, I actually started back with marijuana. Let's go there first before we continue on with the retreats, because I think it's pivotal to this. So my husband retired for about 6 months. I almost want to go in there and tell her to be quiet. She's driving me crazy. Is it bothering you?
I'm okay. My dog's in my arms, just hanging out. It's all good. I'm fine.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, anyone who's listening and watching. Okay. So January 27th, he passes away. About 6 months prior, he was retired for a year. Thank goodness he got to experience what retirement was like for a little bit before he passed. And he said to me, you know, honey, I know you don't smoke it anymore. And you need to know that I was a total addict from like 16 years old until 42 years old, when I did my first consecration to Jesus through Mary back in 2013, and I was healed on Our Lady of Guadalupe's feast day. So, oh my goodness, I've got to go get her. Hold on a second.
Sounds
Oh
good.
my gosh, sorry everyone.
Oh, it's all right. And while Kendra is out trying to get her dog to relax, she's been on the program before. If you go back in the archives, we have 2 interviews with Kendra. One is her story. She was a corporate executive and she left that career when she converted and started doing retreats, author, and then we have another interview in the archives on deliverance prayers. So welcome back, Kendra. That's all right.
I couldn't think. I can't imagine how annoying it was for other people who don't actually live with her and are used to her barking. Okay, so I was healed from marijuana in 2013 on Our Lady of Guadalupe's feast day. Now, this was a total shock. I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it, but I was overjoyed. My husband got to witness this miracle in me. And so all these years go by, and then in 2023, for 6 months before he passed away, he's like, hey, do you mind if I go get some marijuana? I'm in Illinois. Illinois has it for, at any corner legally. So I said, yeah, sure, no problem. Until it got in the house. And then I started smoking it again. And, I was so upset with myself because this was a miracle in my life. And I basically told God, nope, I want to go ahead and do what I want to do, and kind of got back into it. And of course, I was drinking wine, always drank some wine, but my journey has been to have a couple of glasses. And now that I was smoking pot, it was easier to not drink as much wine, but I still had both of these in my life. These have probably been the 2 demons that have taunted me my entire adult life. Tried to stop drinking, wouldn't stop drinking. Lent would be the only time that I would stop. And that was just a thing that my husband and I would do. We'd have a couple of glasses of wine, then I'd start dinner. And as I grew on my journey, I was really struggling with it. Like, why do I need to drink all the time? And then would my husband be upset if I didn't drink? Because this is kind of what we do. So again, January 27th, 2024, he passes away, and I'm still smoking because I'm like numbing myself from my dad, from my husband. And Lent that year, trying to keep it together. Lent that year started on Valentine's Day, Ash Wednesday. I remember it clearly. And here was my plan. I'm going to stop both wine and pot for Lent. And then after Lent, I'm just going to smoke if other people smoke and drink if other people drink, but I'm not going to do it alone in the house. That's what I'm going to do. And doesn't God laugh at our plans, right?
Always.
So I end up the first Sunday after Lent starts, I'm in prayer and I'm on the couch and I'm like, my whole body starts shaking. I start heating up like 1,000 degrees. And I knew something was going on. I knew something was going on. I just didn't know at the time. And I said, okay, Lord, I don't know what you're doing, but I can't wait to find out. And it probably lasted for 2 minutes. And then when it was done and I came back to normal, no heat, no shaking, it was like instant knowledge. He took away any desire for both alcohol and marijuana.
Nice.
Right?
That's awesome.
Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I was like, wait a minute. You're going to make me go through this sober? Like, this has only been a couple of weeks since my husband passed away. I haven't even heard the prayer of move and then yet build a retreat home. So I was grateful, but I was also very scared because I had to feel like everything. And that was tough. But
yeah.
it's the way to heal, right? It's the way to keep moving. And so I focused on all the blessings for anyone who has lost someone, especially a spouse. There were so many blessings. I can't even tell you that I focused on throughout that whole time, trying to really rely on God and Mary. Jesus was just so fundamental. The Holy Spirit was moving in me all the time. Without knowing it, I was like this walking billboard for faith to my friends. All my neighbors were around. We had, I'm going to wipe my eyes. It was why I didn't wear any eye makeup because it just is silly because I know me. Okay. All my neighbors all live in the same neighborhood. We started in a new construction. So I had this great base of people. He passed away in my house up in Chicago, and I'm like a half of a mile away from a hospital. So it was good that I was there. So another blessing. He didn't suffer a long death. And then on top of it, I'm smack dab in ministry. Who knows if I would have stayed in ministry if we came down here and retired? Maybe I would have weaned out of it, and maybe he dies at like 80 years old and I don't have millions of people praying for him. And you might be like, millions of people? Come on, Kendra, you don't touch that many people. Well, I did on Relevant Radio, so I'm a regular contributor on the Morning Air show. Until they just changed the Morning Air host. But John had said to Drew Mariani, do you know Relevant Radio?
I do.
Okay.
I listen to it every morning.
Excellent. I gotta check it out. I gotta check out the new host. So John tells Drew Mariani about me and Jeff, my husband, and he brings them up on the show on Monday. By the way, he passed on a Saturday. And he also told Father Rocky, who brought it up on the live Rosary Across America that night. So there's millions of people that listen to these two shows because they want to get their prayers heard, right? Their prayer requests, so that the world that's listening, because it's on the internet, you can listen anywhere, are praying. And at the time, 3:00, I was in a private mass with my priest, the priest who came to bless my husband. This is another story. I'll back up. I'm kind of jumbled here. I'm in a private mass with him, and I come out and my phone is lit up. People are like, oh my gosh, I just heard. I'm so sorry. And I'm thinking, how did all this happen? Till someone said, I just heard on Drew Mariani about Jeff, So that was a huge blessing to have all of those prayers for him. And then I received stacks and stacks of masses from people. And I'm sure masses that I don't even know were said for him that I didn't get notification for. And I want to share one thing for those of you who are in a situation where maybe you can't get a priest to come and you have your loved one passed away on your floor or wherever. You can pray, you as a layperson can pray the apostolic pardon, which just print it off, put it in your purse, your wallet, give it to your family because it might be you that needs that apostolic prayer prayed over you. And that's like the ticket to heaven, in for lack of a better word. You get out of jail free card in Monopoly and you go straight to heaven. So if you do have a priest and they're praying last rites over your loved one, make sure that they also pray the apostolic pardon, because not many do, or not all of them know about it, I should say. And you could just give him your phone, find it online, show it to him, and he can pray that. And that will give you such peace. Now, I didn't know it was like, I believed everything that the Catholic Church teaches. So my husband was not practicing. He wasn't going to mass. He went to a confession a couple of times during my journey. And so I'm thinking, he's in hell.
Right.
I didn't think about the mercy of God. I didn't think about the fact that we don't know for sure, even if they may not be following the catechesis to the T. We don't know. God's very merciful. So I just, when the EMT asked me if I wanted him to call the priest, because I was like whipping holy water all over him while they were working on him. He obviously knew I was Catholic. And so my mind said, no, what's the point? He's dead. My heart and the Holy Spirit said yes. So my priest came and he's, praying the apostolic pardon and the last rites over my husband. I'm on the phone with my mom. And I looked at him and I said, Father, what are you doing? And he's like, we don't know the day or the hour that the soul leaves the body. And that left me confused. Okay, so what does that really mean? And then 3 days later, I'm listening to Father Chris Alar on his Teaching the Faith YouTube channel every Saturday. And it just so happens to be in this talk that he's talking. He says, you can pray the apostolic prayer over your loved one up to 3 hours and the last rites after death. And this was in the 3-hour window. So that brought me such peace, such relief. So I want to get that out there because I think it's very important for people to know. Did you happen to know those things?
I did not know. So good to know.
Cool. Awesome. Because you never know when you might be in that situation.
True.
So anyway, I'm sitting there totally questioning what I'm going to do with my life, trying my best to, I'm in the middle of working my dad's estate. And now I got to figure out what's going on in my life, worried about his kids. So our kids, but they're not mine. They didn't come out of my body. They're from his first marriage. But, my sons nonetheless, I love them just as if they were mine. And, just thinking, oh my goodness, they lost their mom 5 years ago. Now their dad, just worried about them. And then he says, move. And so I come down here and I get people to help me. And then about a month after he healed me, he said, build a retreat home. I want to heal others. I'm like, oh, what? So, first, honestly, my first thought was, I need to go raise money. I don't want to spend the retirement. What if I have to live off of that? I'm afraid to. And then there was always this guilt in my heart because I'm like, I have retirement money that I could use, but I don't want to use it. like where's my trust in God for providence? It's zero. It's, I'm just like, I'm going to have to go raise money. And I keep thinking to myself, how am I going to raise money? Then I have to be a non-for-profit, and then I have a board. And what if they want me to do certain things with this property? We bought 40 acres on the top of a hill down here in the country. And I'm like, I don't want a board to lean me into doing something that I don't want to do. So one day in adoration, I asked the Lord, how am I going to raise the money? And he responded with, and by the way, I don't ever hear audibly God. Have you ever heard him audibly?
I can think of one instance in my life where I heard him audibly. Other than that, just like a whisper in the back of my mind.
Yeah, exactly. A thought, people say a movement of the heart.
Right.
Anyway, he puts this thought and he says, use my money. And I'm like, what? That means that my money is your money because it's not your money. You blessed me with this money. Maybe this money was for this the whole time. But that was a really big issue because I think my entire life I have been having a disordered relationship with money. I was an executive in corporate America. I've always had money. So to let go of so much to do this was frightening to me. Talk about surrender over and over and over again, constant surrender and fear. I will tell you that we debated. It was me debating. He didn't really say anything. I was like, God, you don't want me to do this because I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. Why would I want to do this? Spend all this money, do all this work,
And he's just listening to you go on and on and on, right?
Exactly. He doesn't respond with anything. Maybe he just reconfirms, build a retreat home. I mean, he uses such little words, short sentences to the point. Oh, he used to talk through my husband so many times. It would be 3 to 4 word sentences to me. And I'm like, okay, that's God speaking through you. So yeah, I was like, okay. And I must have asked him, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? All the way through 2024. And then finally met with a builder, found someone down here who knew one, and signed the contract in January and broke ground in February of 2025 and had the first retreat this April, Divine Mercy Weekend, which, get this, I didn't even realize that I scheduled the first retreat on the day that I went back to confession 20 something years ago. 26 years ago in 2013, it had been 26 years. So that's what got me back into the church was confession on Divine Mercy Sunday, like legit the Sunday of. First retreat here is Divine Mercy Weekend, and it hit me like a ton of bricks once I got into it. Like, oh my goodness, of course it's starting on this day. Of course you planned this, because Patricia Sandoval, she's a good friend of mine. She was the speaker, and we were both laughing because neither one of us realized it was Divine Mercy. I said, how about April 3rd? And she's like, that's Easter. And I'm like, what about the weekend after? And we just never connected it. I know, God is so funny. So yeah, after a year, it's here, and we've got quite a few actually in 2026 this year. I'm starting to book 2027. So I have Dr. Mary Healy, Araceli Rios. She's the founder of Seraphim Designs. There's heirloom rosaries, and she's a dear friend. I have Brooke Taylor, Sonia Corbett. So we just had hers last weekend. She has actually rented this place to do 2 of her own retreats. Yeah. And Sister Dee Dee Byrne, who is a powerhouse. She's in November. And I think that's it. I have a few with Sonia, a couple of repetitive ones with her. So I will tell you, how we talked about deliverance prayers and fighting the spiritual battle. So, for a good long time, it was okay. I just kept fighting. And then there was a 2 to 3 week span of time And it's probably 4 months before the retreat is going to be finished. So walls are up, everything's there. I have a separate chapel. So it's 2 buildings and a separate chapel. And, it's like, how you compare it to where you are in your birthing timeline, like I'm already 3/4 of the way pregnant. I have to have the baby, and of course we always have to have the baby in the Catholic world. But of course I'm thinking I can't go back. Okay, what am I gonna do? Knock the houses down and fill up the, foundation that they dug? So it was constant fear and worry and this was stupid. What did you do? Look at all the money that you spent. Nobody's going to come. You're a complete moron. That wasn't God's voice. That was your voice, which I know for a fact was not my voice. And I know for a fact the devil doesn't want me
doing retreats.
This,
Right.
And there was actually a moment, I want to share this with you too. There was a moment in prayer right when God wanted me to build the retreat. And I was like, oh my gosh. And there was such peace and joy because we were building it in my mind during prayer. And I'm like, oh, okay, you want that? Oh, that would be cool. Let's do that. So it was really kind of cool. Talk about using the imagination. And then I had to come here for the first time by myself. And I've never been here by myself. It's always been with my husband. So that morning before I was going to leave, I sat in prayer, looked at a picture of my husband and I on the table next to me as I sat down on the couch and said, hi, hon. Sat down on the couch and someone gave me this surrender rosary. Sorry. I don't think I prayed it right. I think the surrender rosary is you just say, Jesus, take over 10 times. Mother Mary, guide me 10 times. Jesus, take over 10 times. Well, I just added it to the rosary. So it would be right before the Hail Mary, Jesus, take over. Hail Mary, full of grace. And so I kind of wove it in to the rosary, which I'm glad I did because it was just a beautiful reminder as you're praying the actual rosary, thinking about the mysteries. So I'm on the first decade and I'm maybe on the third Hail Mary. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I get this panic. I start hyperventilating. Tears start coming down my face. I feel like I'm going to get sick. My body is just in total angst and worry and fear. Like I really think I'm going to throw up. And I'm like, what is going on? Just bawling my eyes out. So scared. And then I'm like, this isn't right. And all I said out loud was, Jesus, take over. And it was instantly gone. No sickness, tears, nothing. I mean, my body's totally normal. And that's when I thought, okay, so the devil really doesn't want me to do this, So this is truly God's, not mine, because there's no way in my ever-loving mind that I would ever think of this or do this or spend the money on this. But how do you say no to God? And I know
we could fight him all day long, but eventually he's going to win.
Exactly. So. I'm sure my kids are like, well, there goes all my inheritance. And, like my mom and family members might be like, what are you doing? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But, if you live for the audience of one, I just never wanted to just face him and be like, yeah, sorry, I was too afraid. Because he always calls us to something that's uncomfortable. Right. We're called to greatness, whatever that greatness is in our life. But yeah, it was quite the journey for sure.
Yeah, so you sent me a video earlier of the retreat house, and I'd like to share that with the audience now, if you don't mind. We'll go ahead and play that video. Give me a second to pull it up here. All right. Well, it helps if I actually share it to the stage. Hold on one second.
I know exactly what you're doing because I have the same system.
There we go. All right. Let's try that again. There we go.
I would say that the best part is the location, the facility, we're so in tune with nature. It's just got God's fingerprints on everything here. So just the whole atmosphere has been wonderful. I think the other good thing about it is that it's such a small group. It's very intimate. So as opposed to other retreats or conferences that have a lot of people, we've got the 12 that were called to be here this weekend, which was awesome. And we have a chance to get to know each other, in an intimate way. And we just feel like family already. So it's been great.
It's absolutely gorgeous here, peaceful. You can feel the peace of God. And I love it because we also have Jesus present. We just had Holy Mass. We're having adoration as we speak, and the presence of God is here.
Is the most beautiful. Just off the bat, I'll say that. As you look at the grounds, there's a pond, there's a pool. It's a brand new facility. The rooms are very uniquely fitted, so they're very comfortable, and you have all your needs are met. And the food has been amazing as well. She has a chef, so it's kind of like a 5-star retreat, which I'm not used to, and it's a very nice change actually. And I think everyone deserves to come to this at least once.
All
If your
right.
air conditioning system,
Let's get that
Thank
ad off.
you. Thank you for sharing that.
No, you sent it to me earlier, and I was like, wow, that place looks amazing. I forget how beautiful
Oh,
Tennessee is. So
Tennessee it is so different. So I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, and if anyone's been there, it's just crazy. Too many people. We came down, I'm an hour west of Nashville, so if I need to fly out and go speak somewhere, that's no problem. Actually, that's how we picked it. We chose where a Catholic church would be and how close it would be to an airport. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to make this a spa-like pampering experience for women. It's 12 women. So the downstairs, there's 2 buildings, as you saw. There's 6 bedrooms in each. They have their own private bath. It's designed in a very soothing, spa-like colors and all of that, so that women can feel taken care of. This isn't one of the retreats that you're going to go to, and there's nothing wrong with these retreats. It's just different. It's not the one at the monastery where you sleep on the single bed with the springs poking in your back and the metal frame and all that kind of stuff. It's specifically designed to take care of the women while they are rejuvenating their spirit, their soul, right? They're renewing their mind and they're resting their body. There's a 3/4 of a mile walking trail that they can go on. There's chairs all around the pond with waterfalls. Koi. Now I have baby koi. I have like 50 little baby koi out there. They're so cute. You can go swimming. You could dip your feet in. You can hang out by the pool. At the end of the day, I wanted it to be a place where women are taken care of. So I hired a chef, and all of the meals are served. The women just need to come and relax, because I, as a woman myself, you're constantly giving to other people, and we just don't take care of ourselves. And it's okay to go to a retreat that has these kinds of luxuries, I guess, than another retreat that doesn't. And pamper yourself and enjoy. So that area that you saw where Patricia was speaking, there's nice plush chairs, plenty of room. They swivel. And I just wanted it to be cozy, comfy, and loving. I want to serve the women that are coming here. I want them to have that beautiful encounter with Jesus and hopefully be healed in some way, shape, or form through the nature around or the speaker or whatever is coming to their heart that they write in the journal. So there's lots of takeaways that they get to take home with them that are all blessed. I was so excited. The diocese approved the chapel to have Jesus in the Eucharist in the monstrance for the whole retreat, which is a big deal. I cannot tell you. It was worth every email, every question, every dime, because that is not, we do it right in the Catholic Church, and it's not cheap to do a chapel the right way. So I'm still waiting on Stations of the Cross and a statue of Mary and Saint Joseph and Saint Therese. So I have a relic. Patricia Sandoval, you saw a couple pictures. She brought 150 saint relics to her talk. So people were like touching everything to them. They were all first class. And she gave me one of Saint Therese of Lisieux. And it's funny because I named the buildings Peace, Joy, and Love. And love was the chapel, which fits perfectly with Saint Teresa of Lisieux. So, or Saint Therese, as some likes to say. So that was the idea. It was not to be big. 12 women. I have a 13th bedroom up on the top for the speaker or the priest. I may have priests come and do a weekend. I'm looking at Father Rehill to come out here and host a weekend. He's only an hour and a half south from me. And it's just, I'm looking this way because it's right out my window over here. And it's just it's so great to be able to serve women and to hear their feedback is even more extraordinary. And it's the exact feedback that I wanted them to have. So it's so gratifying, I guess. And it was kind of like, okay, God, I got it. I got why you did this. And now the fear is gone. And I'm just giving it to God as I go, continue to move forward, trying to get the word out, and start looking to book 2027.
What differences have you said there's 12 women there? And of course, I've been at some retreats that are a ton of people. What were some of the feedback you received about the small group experience?
Loved it. So didn't feel like they got lost. And everyone's different. Some people are extroverts. Some people are introverts. Some people switch, like, okay, I've kind of had enough of people today. I need to go withdraw. And the whole reason why I love the weekend retreat is because I've spoken at a lot of conferences. And I love those conferences. I love to get to meet people while I'm signing books, but it's only for a little short period of time. And there's moments where I'm like, man, I wonder whatever happened to that woman. I may have even forgotten her name, but she told me something. And I never see them again. So this is for me to get to know people in a more intimate way, for people to also get to know me and whoever is speaking, because that person is with us the whole weekend. And so if you ever liked Sonia Corbett, for example, but never really got to talk to her, you can spend the whole weekend with her and even have some one-on-one consultation time. Plus, the women were saying it's just so great because you get to meet everybody at whatever level you want, when the free time comes after the speaker speaks their first talk. I say no speaking. You can go to your room. You can go to the pond. You can go to the pool. You can go to the gazebo. You could walk wherever you want to go. I want you to now reflect and think about what the Holy Spirit put on your heart based on what the speaker said, because people are taking notes like mad. But how often do you go back and look at them if you've got, one speaker after another in a conference? So that's why retreats are so different, because it takes you physically out of your environment. You're not, coming home that evening after a day retreat. You are here from Friday to Sunday, and you get to spend that time reflecting with God. A woman came here for an answer to something, and she received it. And other people come with trauma or, something that's going on in their life with the relationship that they have, or addictions, and they're trying to work through it. And so that's the time that I wanted people to have, and they do get it here. And then there's mass and adoration and confession on Saturday. So their holy day of obligation is fulfilled and they don't have to worry about flying back home and going to mass late at night. So it does matter if you take time for a retreat. Have you ever been on a retreat?
I've been to a couple. They're great. It's good to get away and, like you said, reflect, take that quiet time, get away from the noise of the world and just listen. I think that's important, and we've lost that in our culture a lot, in my
Oh,
opinion.
so so the first retreat didn't have, there was an issue with the Wi-Fi. So there was no Wi-Fi, there was no connectivity. People could get like like one bar, maybe. Some of them, depending on your carrier, you couldn't get
Were
a
people
bar.
freaking out?
They were okay with it. They were okay.
Good.
They're like, oh my gosh, this isn't too bad. I said, look, if you have an emergency and you need to do something, come on over to my house, which is like I could throw a baseball to the retreat. Come over to my house and you can get on my Wi-Fi if you need to for some weird reason. But they all really enjoyed it. And my idea was to ask if the women would relieve their phones. Like, in other words, give me your phone. I'll put it in a bag. I'll have it charged for you on Sunday. You can give my number as an emergency number. I went to a retreat once and they just took our phones. No warning, no nothing. And I was pretty upset because, that's my phone. Yeah, I mean, how
Right.
attached we are to those things. And they
Right
just
here.
took them. Yeah,
So,
right? Mine's right here too. I mean, they could be good and they could be bad. So yeah, we had to let go of our phones. I was miffed for a few hours and then I was okay with it. It was nice to disconnect because then you don't have anything that's going to distract you. You don't have texts from your spouse, from your kids. You don't have emails coming in. It's just you and nature and God and women who are all on that journey. So that's the cool thing. At least all these women are trying to be holy. They're all here and you're praying for each other. And it's so crazy that there were people up in Wisconsin and Illinois who lived in certain areas that backed up to neighborhoods, but they didn't know each other till they came down here. A woman was from Arizona who met a woman in California, in Seal Beach, California. I don't even know where that is. And turns out the woman in Arizona just bought a condo in Seal Beach, California. So they're getting together and having coffee.
wow.
And, it's like you might come out with your spiritual bestie out of one of these things, or at the very least, a group of women who are like, this was so cool. We got to come back again next year, which is what two of the retreats, those women have already said. Are we in for next year, same weekend? Which is great because I would love that. Love that. People take the time out and then they're hanging out with friends and family and enjoying breaking bread together and beautiful, delicious bread. The chefs are so amazing. And having that time with God, which is really what it's all about.
So, question not so much for a retreat, but how did you manage to get the chapel approved? What was that process like?
So I reached out, not knowing anybody really. I think I reached out to the secretary to the bishop, and then she kicked me over to the secretary to the vicar general. And then I went to Nashville, sat in a room with him and the faith formation director and talked to them about what I was looking to do and all of that. And they said, okay, well, when it comes time to the chapel, get with us and we'll help. And I was like, okay. It was a lot of emails. There was a document that said, you must have this type of an altar. It must be secured. It must be a locked, secured place. Your tabernacle must not be able to move. That must be secured. They didn't care about the pews. They didn't care about the lector. They didn't care about any of that. They wanted everything. You need the altar light. You need the altar cross and the candles. So when it came down to it, I had to buy 3 monstrances. I know anything you want to know about monstrances, so y'all give me a call if you need to get one. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to get one from an 1860 French monastery where nuns were. Can't imagine how many holy people looked at this throughout the hundreds of years. Yeah, no, there was nothing to hold Jesus. And then I got another one, and it had a European clip where you would clip Jesus. And you imagine like little pieces would break, and then I had to go with the US one. So the third time was a charm in that regard. So when the priest and the faith formation director came over, they had to inspect everything, that everything I had set up was the way in which the Catholic Church needed it to be. And that took months. So for the first retreat, we did not have Jesus there throughout the whole weekend. So the minute you walk in to the minute you leave, he was only there for 4 hours on Saturday afternoon when the priest came and listened to confessions, did adoration, and celebrated mass. So what a difference it was the second retreat, because I got the approval, and here I am driving with Jesus in my Luna holder in my car, coming here, putting him in the tabernacle. I mean, the atmosphere just changes. It's really quite extraordinary. And then there's all these rules once he's there. He's not here 24/7. I'm going to tell you, I was so bummed, because in my mind, I thought, oh, how beautiful. I'm just going to walk out there every day. I'll pray in the chapel in front of Jesus. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, didn't happen. But I also know that they don't know me, and they said, look, we'll revisit this, but we need to be careful. We need to protect Jesus. And they have this committee now that they, didn't have before. And I'm okay with it. I mean, the purpose is to have him there for the retreat, right? It would have been a big bonus for him to be there here on this land for, all the time, but that's not the case. Because it's, what if a tornado comes? Someone has to come here and get Jesus. He needs to be. And they had said that you can't leave. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because I know at a church, the priest leaves, the people in the office don't sleep over, the priests take vacation, other priests. So I don't know. I have a lot of questions, but I'm very happy. And that's what a Catholic retreat is all about. I had a Episcopalian and a Lutheran come to the first retreat, and they learned all about the saints and all about the Eucharist. They attended Mass. One is actually a fallen away Catholic too. But the Lutheran had no idea. And she was like, oh my gosh, this Eucharist and this devotion that you have, and women are veiling. And she's like, it's such a different service. And I'm like, yeah, that's, Jesus is the source and summit of our faith. This is the whole deal, So it was funny. She went home and she shared, her husband was like, are you going to convert to Catholicism now? And she's like, well, I'm open to it, So this is a shout out to anyone who's listening who wants to come. Everyone is invited. You'll just learn a few things about the Catholic faith that you may not have already known, and be in a place where women just want to be closer to Jesus. Really, that's what it's all about. So that was kind of
a nice, friendly space where people can be themselves, and you're kind of you're evangelizing too, and you have the diocese approval. I'm guessing then, since you met with everyone, you did it the right way.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. So my local pastor, he's the one that, was working with me on a lot of things too. So he has to, I bring the host, and he consecrates it during Mass in the morning, puts it in the Luna holder, and then I drive Jesus here. So, it's just great. He's just been so wonderful with it too. And he came here and blessed everything and all the stuff that people get to take home. And that's the thing. I want people to bring the retreat home with them. So there's like a blanket, so I tell them in the communications, leave half of your suitcase empty, please. So you can take the blanket home, a candle, a leather bound journal, your pen, and you get body butter and lip gloss from a local woman, a little Catholic woman that's starting her own business. But all this is to bring it home with you so you can light that candle, wrap yourself up in that blanket, and write in that journal like you did here, and continue the retreat while you're not here. And hopefully the smell of the candle brings you back and the memories back and all of that. So and then there's another keepsake that's a surprise and I can't tell anyone, but
Well, we have the website on the screen, soulmindandbodyretreat.com. So if one of our listeners wanted to book a retreat, what would that process be like?
so go to the site. You have to choose which one you want. So there's a speaker lineup. You can click on the talk. You can expand the little sections and understand, oh, this is what the topic is about. Here's a little bit more about the weekend. And then if you want to register, just click register and you can pay credit card or you can do ACH with your check and you get the confirmation, and communication comes automatically based on when you register. So you'll get information about a month prior. And we've decided to open up a portal for each separate group. So the people who came for the Divine Mercy weekend have a portal that they all can go into. They can talk to each other. They can upload pictures. They can, ask for prayers so that it's not emails going around all over the place. And it's sort of just almost like a little web page for everyone to communicate and share with and stay in touch with. Unfortunately, we say that we're going to do that and life gets in the way. But that portal is hopefully something that can help bring that group together. Same with the second group, and so on and so on and so on. That's it, pretty much.
All right.
Yeah.
So again, check out the website, soulmindandbodyretreat.com. Well, Kendra, thank you for sharing about your retreat house. What a journey that must have been. We'll continue to be.
I was going to say it's like, for the most part, I'd say 90% done. I'm still waiting for a 15-foot table to be made and an island for the kitchen area. But other than that, I do have a table. It's just a bunch of, outdoor card tables, unfortunately, until those get in. But they have, normal chairs that you can sit at and a tablecloth, so you can barely tell. But yes, almost everything is done, but it's always going to be improved. And the theme is be still and know that I am God, Psalm 46:10. Because that's been my theme since even my first retreat. So that retreat where they took my phone away, that was the verse that I was given. And it's like, you're right. I need to be still. I don't need my phone, I need to be with God. And I think we need to be reminded of that. So yeah. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to share this on your program. And
well, it was great having you on. Great catching up. It's been a long time.
It has.
Like you said before. So
it has. Can you tell me what's going on your LinkedIn? It says a publishing LLC of some sort.
Yeah, so I started a little publishing company. It's really tiny. It's mostly my stuff. There's a couple other books on there. It's called Hope and Glory Press. I said just a small little publisher, just to help people publish their books. I'm doing this, writing on Pathos quite a bit. Let's see. Board of directors on Catholicism Rocks. I'm helping out the Four Persons Network. That's kind of where this is going as well, in addition to my channel. I'm teaching at University of Arizona this week, starting tomorrow for a couple days. Yeah, it's quite a summer break, if you want to call it that.
No rest for the weary, right? No.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm also teaching a Bible study every Sunday to a group in Pakistan, believe it or not.
Really?
So
oh my goodness.
That's pretty amazing. The wonders of the internet,
I know.
It's crazy.
How did that come your way?
LinkedIn.
Oh.
He emailed me. He's like, we have a group here. They don't, we don't have a lot of churches here. We're a small community and people are just hungry for scripture. Would you be willing to do a Bible study with us once a week? I'm like, sure. It's like 6 a.m. my time, but it's okay. It's fine.
I love it.
So
I love it. That's so cool.
yep.
Ah,
And
congratulations.
one other thing, I applied for the diaconate as well, and
Ooh,
I had my interview April 22nd, and I'm waiting to hear back because the whole formation program is supposed to begin August, September. So we're supposed to hear soon whether there's like 14 of us that applied. So we're supposed to hear soon whether we got in or not.
is there a
So we'll
limit?
see. No,
Oh, okay, good. So it's not like 7 can get in, 7 of you can't type of thing. That's good.
no,
Oh, shh. Go ahead.
they just ordained 15 deacons from the
Mhm.
last class. It's a 4-year program.
I know.
And
It's
so, yeah, it's
insanity.
so God willing, I'll be in the next program starting in August. So God's will be done. We'll see. I'm waiting to hear back.
Oh, you got to tell me as soon as you
I will.
know. How
I will.
exciting.
I've been
I know
checking the
another,
mail every day.
I bet. I bet. I know another person who's going through that, like probably 3/4 of the way through, and it's a lot. It's a lot. I know you could do it. I mean, you're well ahead of the game on theology as it is, but and I know you'll get in. I don't know anything that would possibly keep you from getting in my humble opinion. I know you have
Well,
yet to
thank
see
you.
the paper come in the mail, but I cannot. What do you know when you'll hear?
They didn't say, and there's been a lot of curveballs. Unfortunately, I mean, we did get a new bishop
Hmm.
about 4 months ago, and unfortunately, we've had 3 priests pass away, and so he's had that. Then he's had the ordinations and everything else. So it's been a very busy time.
Yeah.
So all they said is you'll hear back. That's all we heard.
Sometime before August, before the classes start, I guess.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Oh well. I will keep you my prayers. God's will be done,
Well,
but
thank you.
I'm pretty confident this is, God's will. Why not? Right? I mean, you've done so much.
I think so. The interview went very well. They were very positive, and they're talking about, as you continue on and all this stuff. But at the same time, there's that voice in my head, like, what if I don't? You know how that goes.
Yeah, that's the devil.
Yeah,
Kick it out.
yeah, yeah.
Kick it out. Did
So
you
yeah,
meet with the vocation director? Who do you interview with?
it's the formation team. So it was a panel interview.
Hmm.
And my wife and I both had to be interviewed, because obviously she's a part of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
And honestly, she could say no at any point, and I'm out of the program. So,
Wow.
but no, my wife's all on board.
I
But
bet.
and that's what a part of the interview is. They wanted to make sure that she knew what the commitment was, what was entailed. And like I said, the interview went very well. It was like the best interview I've ever had. Like, really.
Of
we were
course
all
it
laughing.
was.
We were all laughing at the end. So it was fun. It was
Oh,
good.
that's awesome. Okay. I can't wait to hear.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
let you know.
I'll let you go down with your life because you got a busy one going on there. Say hi to the kids in Pakistan, and let's not lose touch for so long. Thank you so much for having me on.
No, it was a
God
pleasure.
bless you.
It was a pleasure. It was great to catch up with you, and God bless what you're doing.
You too. Take care. Mwah.
Take care. Bye. Take care.